Hey y'all, it's Wednesday and I'm Marsha, realtor with Caremark Realty Group, and I want to first thank you for tuning in to the Wednesday series where I share information with you and tips with you that I think can help you win in life. And today's topic is still on home ownership. Specifically, we're going to be talking about the cost of the home buying process. Now, if you remember, or if you recalled, or even if you watched, two of the other videos from the Wednesday series was about the home buying process, and there was 10 steps within that home buying process that I glossed over with you. So this is kind of piggybacking off that, and specifically now we're going to talk about the costs of the home buying process. Basically meaning, what does it cost you, a buyer, to go through the home buying process from beginning to end and get your keys, right? So let's go ahead and get started. Now, when I first get a client or a new client, one of the typical questions that they ask is, what is my fee, or what would it cost for me to represent them as an agent? And I always say to them that there is no upfront cost. I am paid, or the realtor is paid, from the proceeds from the sale. Okay? Now, we'll talk about that more in detail, but basically the realtor is working from you from beginning to end by, making sure you sign the agency agreement form, making sure you're pre-approved, searching for a property for you, taking you to look for the property, writing the offer once you decide on the property that you like, and then connecting you with all the key players, loan officers, attorney, inspectors, etc., even movers and cleaners, and negotiating the transaction and managing it for you at no upfront cost. So once we get to the closing table, that is when the realtor is paid. Okay? The second cost or fee is the loan officer, right? Now, I'm not a loan officer, so it's important that you do talk to the loan officer, whoever you choose from the list that I would give you if I'm your realtor, or your realtor will give you with whoever you're working with, right? So you want to talk to them and ask them what's the fees. However, typically what I do see is about 1% of the purchase price, but that's just typical. It is not standard, and that price varies. So you definitely want to talk to the loan officer. And not only does that price vary, but it varies based off of the loan amount, even your credit score, the lender company that you may be working with. So there's a lot of key factors that go into that, but typically you can see maybe it can range from $400 and up, or just 1% of the purchase price, the price of the property. Okay? Again, please do not quote me on this. You definitely want to do your research, and I'm here to help you do that research. However, we don't really share the numbers, if that is clear to say or safe to say. So now the next is the attorney fees. Now, attorney, again, prices vary. I am not an attorney, and it depends on the attorney, maybe even their experience, years in the game. Whatever the case may be, the price vary, but I have typically seen the price or the fee be between $350 to $600. So again, as your realtor, I would give you a list of attorneys that you can choose from and see which is the best fit for you. Next, so we said the realtor cost, the loan officer cost, and the attorney cost. Next is earnest money. That is the cost in the home buying process that will come up. Now, earnest money is typically about 1% of the purchase price, but again, that price varies. I have written offers, and the earnest money wasn't 1% of the purchase price. So that's just a typical kind of safety net number or figure that you can use just to, if you're trying to put together a spreadsheet of what the cost would be. Now, but again, there's different ways that you can go about the earnest money. If the property is like $150,000, maybe you just offer $500 earnest money. But if the property is like $300,000, $400,000, you might want to give a little bit more, $1,500, $2,000 worth of earnest money, just to show that good faith and let them know that you're committed. Let the sellers know that you're committed to this purchase. Okay? Next, we'll talk about the inspector, or the inspection fee, or the inspection cost. Again, I'm not an inspector, I'm the realtor. So I'm just sharing with you information about basically what I have seen. And again, the inspector fee does vary. It varies based off the property type, maybe even the location, and the inspector company in itself. but typically I have seen the price range from like $350 to $600. Could be more, could be less. It depends on those factors: property, location, property type, location, and the inspector himself or herself. Next is the appraisal. Now, the appraisal fee is included in your loan application. When you can see the breakdown in your closing statement, which is a document that you get at the closing table. We can talk about that more, but also you can talk to your loan officer about what is the appraisal actual fee. Okay. Next is the down payment. Now, the down payment, like everything else, it depends. It depends on your credit score. It depends on the purchase price. It depends on what kind of loan you're choosing. So maybe you got approved for the FHA loan and the down payment is 3.5%. Or maybe you got approved for a conventional loan and you're anywhere from 3% to 20%. Or maybe you're a VA loan and you have 0%, right? Down payment. So the down payment definitely varies. And again, loan officer is the best person to talk to about that because the loan officer knows the numbers way better than the realtor do, because the loan officer is going over the numbers with you. All right. Lastly is the closing costs. Yes, down payment and closing costs are different. I'll talk to you about them more in another video about the difference, but your closing cost fee is usually about 2 to 5% of the purchase price. So with that being said, if you have a property that's about $150,000, your closing costs could be anywhere from $3,000 to $7,500. Does that make sense? Okay, so we talked about the realtor costs or the realtor fee, the loan officer fee, the attorney fee, the earnest money, the inspection fee, the appraisal, the down payment, and the closing costs. So that's 8 different areas where you would most likely have to come out of your pocket to pay for these services as you move through the home buying process. All right, so that's the cost of the home buying process. If you have any questions, feel free to call, text, DM, email me at any time. We can go over it in more detail, and I look forward to sharing more information with you. And thanks for tuning in to Wednesday. All right, talk to y'all later. Bye. Or talk to y'all later. See y'all